All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to HBCU Coaches Corner. My name is Rocky, your co-host, along with the Rattler himself, Mr. Campbell, and our featured host. The reason why this show is called HBCU Coaches Corner, none other than my man, Johnnie Cole. Well, with no further ado, you know how we get this started, Coach. How you doing, Coach?
Man, I'm doing great, Coach. I'm on my vacation travel. My first stop is Houston, that's where I'm at now. I'll be in Atlanta this weekend for the HBCU Black College Football Hall of Fame, and then I'm heading from there to Dallas and see my son and make some visits. Then I'm heading up to Portland, up there to see my other son, and of course my brother's up there also. And I'll come down to San Diego for Juneteenth. I'm invited to a Juneteenth celebration in San Diego. So from there, man, I don't know where I'm gonna be. I definitely I'll be somewhere. It won't be at home. So I'm taking real advantage of this summer vacation this year.
Hey, Coach, you doing a world tour? Looks like, Coach.
Well, or domestic tour in the States.
Yeah.
However you want to call it, Coach.
Hey, Mr. Campbell, how's it going, man? How you doing today?
Man, I'm excited. You know what I mean? It's always good to have people that wish they would have with the FAMU to join us tonight. You know what I mean? So I'm excited about that. Get to hear about the other side of how they live, Yeah. So we got a guy that, is well respected and things like that. Actually, when he played, we'll talk about that. Actually beat the Rattlers. I think the one time he did beat us. You know what I mean? So he'll probably talk about that, man. I'm excited, man. This is a big show right here.
Yeah. Hey, when we heard a month ago that Jay would be inducted into the Black College Hall of Fame, I asked Coach Cole, is there any chance we could get him on? And Coach Cole delivered like he always does. I don't know how he does it, Coach. How does he know everybody that's anybody in HBCU sports?
But hey, Rocky, let me say something. And Coach and I talk about, but you know what's amazing to me? But there's folks that got other things, and but they won't say don't nobody like Coach, and Coach ain't no good, and Coach should be in jail. Boy, they be all on their YouTube and stuff like that. But isn't it amazing how the truth comes out? Because respect is when people show up to your doorstep. Yeah. So, Coach, do not ever believe what they say, because half of us lie and the other half is untruth. How about that?
Well, thank you, Coach. I'm glad you say that, man. And I try to do things the right way and treat people. My mother and father always taught us the basics. Treat people how you want to be treated, man. And I felt I've always done that. And the blessings have been coming, and since this show have started. And it's really a good feeling inside that. And I want to thank you two as well as making my dream come true, to be able to put our African American superstars on the front page, and we got several tonight. I mean, tonight, man, wow. You talk about a national known HBCU guy, and I guess I'll lead on to the introduction, Coach. We got some friends of his that's gonna show up tonight, man, that and that's gonna come on and give a lot of information. But the guy's Jay Skywalker. I met him through coaching and him being an announcer. He is the second coming of the voice of HBCU. And when I started, it was Charlie Neal, and it's been passed on to Jay Skywalker, which is doing it. He's doing even bigger things. He's doing stuff at the HBC level as well as the national level, man. And he's our guy. He come with the I got 5 on it, and he's sensational. He inspired me to try to get behind, and I've been successful to get there, but I ain't nowhere near him. Without further ado, man, Jay Skywalker, he'll let you know he is the truth. He's from California, came all the way over here with these Southern boys. And I got Coach gonna tell a story, but welcome to the show, Jay Skywalker.
Man, what a great introduction there. What a great introduction. And hearing some of the talks that y'all were having, and one of y'all said, man, it's amazing, man. Coach Cole know everybody. That's great. But also on the flip side of that, everybody know Coach Cole too, for better or for worse. But everybody knows him. But I'm glad y'all can have me on there. It's always good to be around some of the people that respect. Coach Cole, don't take away from yourself. I mean, one of the best moments I remember in broadcast was watching you win that SWAC championship in football at the school. They said you couldn't win a SWAC championship back. Moments like that. So I was part of that journey. You welcomed me into that in my broadcasting career. When I got into it, even back when you were at Tennessee State, you were always so supportive. So when the phone rings, I got to pick up when it says Johnnie Cole.
Coach, man, I've been talking to some people about you. And one of the things that said that you was in Long Beach State. You're a West Coast guy.
Through and through.
And this is the worst I ever heard about Jay Skywalker. He was the fourth quarterback. Wouldn't get no playing time. And they doused the coach. And unfortunately, the coach was old and he ended up passing away. And people started coming to get players. But they left one player. And the man I'm going to bring on next is Coach Steve Wilson. And he'll finish the story. They end up bringing.
Hold on, guy.
He brought this 14 quarterback to Howard. And so I want to bring on an outstanding coach, man. I had an opportunity to sit with Steve, Coach Wilson, and see how they mastered. Those East Coast boys, they got an offense. They got their own offense. But Coach Steve, you can finish that story.
Hey, thanks for having me, Johnny. My introduction didn't match Jay's introduction, but I understand. Okay. All right. Hey, that was a true story, but we really knew what we were looking for, and he seemed to fit the mold, and it didn't take much for us to get going once he got here. So we did a lot of good things, and there are a lot of stories around what happened that year, no doubt. Well, it was actually 2 years.
Yeah.
That was the first time. That was the first time I ever heard I was a fourth-string quarterback at Long Beach. I mean, I was a comfortable third. I was traveling. I got in the game, but fourth string. Okay, that's the way we going to do that, huh?
When you get older, the stories get bigger and bigger and bigger. So you might have been 15.
Well, it ended up being a situation, guys, where you have to take a hunch. We had been building our football team, but the one position we had not put in place to do the things we wanted to do was quarterback. And we kind of brought Jay in and gave him the keys, and he was ready to go. So, just being able to find the right guy, but we also found the right personality that we needed in a year like that to be out front in the nation's capital. It was a national affair every day. We were live at 5 every day.
Jay,
I had to pull Jay out of drill so he could go do his interview at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right,
Jay,
but what ended up happening that was great is that we had the right showman in front of the cameras, and he sold our program and our university very well during that time.
Yeah, Jay, you're at Long Beach. They come get you. They bring you. You go from coast to coast. Did you know anybody out there? And it was a losing program.
That's the thing about prior to that, some other schools I talked about going there, but Coach Wilson did a good job with my mom. She always kept saying, "When you going to visit Howard?" And I took the visit to Howard, and they sold me on. I mean, they sold me on, and it was, I left there like, I'm going to be making a big mistake if I don't come see if any of this stuff they're telling me is true. Any of it. And I'm fortunate for my dreams came true. I mean, and Coach tell you now, I never saw a football field. I never saw anything else. I saw, the city of DC, and I saw how big Howard was. And the president at the time, Dr. Jennifer, he sat me down and kind of said, you realize that Howard University is the biggest thing that black folks have in the United States of America. And I thought about that. And I said, even if it's not the biggest, if it's the second biggest or the third biggest, I'm in a good situation there. And if I get them to even talk about me as a football player in the nation's capital, it would be a really good situation. So I believed in Coach Wilson. He took a chance on me, and the things he told me could happen, I mean, it happened. It happened. I mean, just imagine as a quarterback come in and, he says, hey, if you do X, Y, and Z, you're going to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in America. In America. And when it was all said and done, I still have it. The draft guide, you look at Mel Kiper's draft guide, guess who's ranked the number 3 quarterback in America? Behind 2 guys that went first round. I'm number 3. Number 4. Nobody had me less than the 5th ranked quarterback. So dreams came true. Dreams came true.
I want to say this. I don't know if Coach Wilson nor you guys were really the first. Coach Wilson, no experience coming from the NFL, coming into a coaching job, and you not necessarily his son, but coming from Division 1A school into Black college. And y'all two was the first successful instead of the Sanders. And I get on them a lot, Jay. They think that the swag in me, I just started today. But there's been great players and great coaches as y'all two. Did y'all guys too really realize that?
Well, we knew they had thrown the ball. I was a fan of the SWAC for years. They've been throwing the ball down there for a long time. In the MEAC, they hadn't. MEAC was primarily a run league. We came in and started throwing the football, and it was a big shock. My problem was that I didn't have anybody to throw it. And so Jay was the first guy. I had played in the AFC West as a defensive back where they threw the ball every down. All right. And I knew how to attack defenses. And we just taught our kids that system. And every week, we had a chance to win, and we won a lot of them.
Yeah. And Coach did the thing where he would showcase, there were times, I remember we were playing a game one time and it was all by design. He said, Jay, I want you to take a hard roll out to the left, pivot, throw the ball across field. Coaches never tell you throw across field. You know that, Coach Cole. He said, pivot, square your shoulders up, and let it fly to Jimmy Cunningham on a 70-yard bomb to show off your arm strength. And then, we're playing Delaware State, and it's the pregame Delaware State, championships on the line for the undefeated season, and it is windy. It's windy as all outdoors. Coach Wilson knew I really didn't care about winning because if you're a strong arm quarterback, you just cut it up. And we literally sit there. He tells the coach, he said, give me a cover 2 and give me 3 verts. Jay, stick it. And I'm thinking, okay, you're telling me stick it. I drop back, and I let it go. And you're thinking, okay, that was, I could do that. You don't know how many players I've seen from Delaware State that saw that throw in pregame, Coach.
Right.
They saw it in pregame and said, when we saw that, we said, oh, we're not winning today. We're not winning today. So Coach Wilson had that vision, and it was really up to me to just go out there and execute. And the last point I'll make to what you just said, Coach Cole, was, HBCU football has been there for a long time. And when I look about me going into the Black College Football Hall of Fame, I'm just a smidget of those great players that I played in my generation. And that's the catch-up we need. 90s HBCU football, you had some big names there. And I think I'm going to be one of many that are going to come and follow to go into the Black College Football Hall of Fame. Coach talked about Ted White. Ted White should be there. You talk about, I played against Earl Holmes. Earl Holmes should be there. Played against, we talk about Terry Mickens, guys of that nature. Jacquay Nunley's going in with me this year. I think it was kind of our job to be the guys in the 90s to keep the product alive, to make the product better, and to keep the tradition and everything going. So I'm going in for all those guys, and there should be more following up behind me.
Mike Strahan is in that 90s group too. He was in the 90s. And Leon Murray at Tennessee State's in that group as well.
Oh, yeah, Robert Forche. You got Robert Forche.
A lot of great ones, Coach. A lot of great ones.
Steve McNair and I, we were rivals, but, it took me about 15 years to get in after him. But we were rivals that time frame, and that's what we did. It was a great brand of football. Some of the guys at Tennessee State when you were there. Charles Anthony, names like that. We've had some players that have come through in recent times, even though I'm like ancient now, but that's my message.
Now, Coach, did you have anything to do with talking JM? Because like you told me, we talked before we even got on here about how, I ain't gonna say terrible y'all were, but y'all had one of the biggest turnarounds in NCAA football as well. I think.
Well, you know what happens is that you come in off a field where you've never coached, and all of a sudden you're the head coach. You can only do what you know. And I brought NFL with me, and I brought NFL coaches with me. And I guess the same thing that Deion did in the last 4 or 5 years, I did 35 years ago. All right, the exact same way. And being in the nation's capital, we needed a quarterback that people wanted to see. All right, and we needed a quarterback that people wanted to listen to. And Jay fit all of those pieces, and we got hot.
Yeah,
we got hot, and it was fun to watch, and it's fun to review. But as Jay knows, it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. We got tested a few times.
Yeah, last one. So Jay, according to Coach Wilson, you said I want to be an All-American, but also I want to do TV. Where did that come from? Was it a little boy? Was it parents? Where did that come from? Because you fit, man. You fit.
Look, I owe Coach for that too, in a way he probably doesn't know, and I really owe his wife because it was, I had an opportunity to do a sideline game as a sideline reporter at Howard, and I did no preparation. I did nothing. I went out there raw, and I'm gonna tell you, I was awful. And I was so when I went and saw it, I was so embarrassed. And then Coach Wilson called me and he said, what'd you think about the game you did and everything? And I said, man, I can't believe I was so bad. And I'm willing to give it up at that point. But Coach Wilson told me, his wife Kathy, and she said, you know what? Jay's got it. Jay's got it. If he works at it, he can do this. And I just needed that one person to tell me they saw something in me. And then the next year,
was it a college game or
it was a college game? I was a sideline reporter. I didn't study. I just went out there like, this is easy. I can do it. It'd be easy, no problem. It's a Howard sideline game. And the camera's looking at me and I'm looking away and people are talking to me and I'm just raw. And I was so bad that I think the competitive nature in me came out. And I asked that producer, will you give me another chance to do another game? And he really said, I don't know. I'm that bad, but but then when I came and did a game for him the next year, he told me I've never seen anybody improve so much from one year to the other. And you tell me you haven't done any other games, and it was just me doing the preparation, me just prepping, knowing what I was in for, and I just put my heart into it, and I wanted to compete. And I think it was because Coach Wilson and his wife saw something in me that I don't think many people did see.
Well, Jay, let me say this: we know why you were successful at Howard, but I want to really talk about right now why you successful at ESPN right now.
Man, I've been fortunate. Oh no, is that? Oh, you got to be kidding me! I'm getting ready to toot my own horn. There they go. There she go. Oh boy!
You always feel better.
We're gonna make sure you don't lie tonight,
Jay. Come on now.
That's a good one. You got me good there.
Now, wait a minute now. Hold on real quick now. Because, Jay, you see the background, right? You see the background. So
yeah.
We had to bring your better half on to make sure this was a successful interview. I just want to make sure. This is Tiffany Green, Florida A&M University.
It's your night, man. It's your night.
Hall of Famer.
It's too many snakes on here. I told y'all. I don't like snakes.
We
rattlers,
AK,
so I just want to put that
okay? Get that right. Get that out there. We rattlers, not snakes.
Just want to put that out there. So we just had to have a little bit of balance on the show.
Yeah. You got me.
What up, Jay Walk? And it's not that often that Jay is speechless. Because Jay has a lot to say. He will give you his opinion. What's up, Jay?
You got me.
Congratulations to you, Jay. I don't get an opportunity to be there with you later this month or in a week or so, but just wanted to come on and say congratulations. And they actually asked me to say nice things about you. I was like, man.
I know that should have been real easy for you, but you're gonna make it harder than it has to be.
Well, let me say this, Jay. You guys inspire me. I'm now on HBCU Go TV. And man, you guys are super. You are the example. You represent HBCU, and I know you guys are nationally known now. And I just want to thank you because I'm trying to get that 5 down, Jay. And Tiffany, you be rolling, boy. You be rolling. And now, you know, Jay, when you talk about people be talking to your ear, yeah, that happened to me too. So, man, I want to appreciate you guys, man. And you know, I'm really, Jay, I started this show, you know, just to make sure that we don't forget our champions. You know, we've had Bill Hayes on here, Doug Williams. We've had them all, you know, and you now, and like I said, the second generation of the voice for HBCU football. And I want to thank you, and thank you, Tiffany, also. Y'all represent us well. I want you to keep up the good work. But we got you, Jay. I got you this time.
You snuck in Tiff on me. That was a good one there. And I give hats off to my part. You know, as you mentioned earlier, you know, it was Charlie Neal. Charlie Neal gave me an opportunity to live out a dream, something I never thought I'd see. You know, he called my games and I got to work with him. And then when Tiffany came along, it was so refreshing to see somebody that cared as much about the products, which is HBCU, not just on the field, off the field, the pageantry, the camaraderie. And she made me take my game to another level because I was a football player at Howard. And I say that I had to learn. I love Howard University. I don't love Howard University as much as Tiffany loves Florida A&M. I mean, they brainwashed them rattlers down there. And once I learned that, I said, let me stay in my lane and I can do the football and you can do the other stuff.
Right.
But I think that's what's so cool, and I thank you for that, Jay, because this is actually an opportunity for us to shine on you and to give you your flowers, because you welcomed me into this space. Yes, we are both HBCU products, but you welcomed me in HBCU football and really helped me to get my footing. And I don't want to say like it was an okay, but like no, she's good. Like she's good. Like give her a shot. But standing next to you, meeting all these different coaches, you always opened the door or made sure that was room for me to enter the door with you. And I appreciate you for that. And you are really good. So you do have the it factor. Like what Coach Wilson and his wife saw long ago, you have it. Like you've just got
all
this.
Right. I'm not used to this now. You're making me uncomfortable now. This ain't what we do, Tim.
It's not what we do, but I do have to give you your props. Like you really do have it. And I tell you all the time, like you're exceptional at this. You're really, really good at what you do. And I'm so glad that I get to do it alongside you. Okay. Is that it? Can I stop there? You want me to keep going? But no, I sincerely appreciate you. I love you like a brother. You get on my nerves like a brother as well. That comes across on air, but I think that's also the magic and the chemistry that we've created over time. And you always, always, always look out for me.
Yeah.
Hey, Tiff, I want to thank you for joining us. And I also want to thank Mr. Campbell for hooking it up. But this is what I want to ask you, Tiff. When you came in, were you aware what a prolific passer Jay was in HBCU football when you took the job at ESPN?
Well, Ted White is my favorite Howard quarterback. So, I mean, I knew about
Ted. You done, girl. You done. You know you're done.
No, but Jay let me know. You know, Jay let me know. But honestly, I'll be honest. I'll be real with you. He didn't. I knew like to some degree, but probably not fully. What I began to learn very quickly, though, was everybody else knew about it, right? And so when we would talk to coaches or when we would go to games, like no matter, still to this day, Sky, man, what's up, Sky? What's going on? Oh man, you remember when you did this? Da, 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 da. So I learned very quickly just how great Jay was as a quarterback, and still is. Like he'll get out there and still pass it up. Him and Connell Maynard would go back and forth and always have these QB battles. It was fun, but everybody let me know that there was a legend of, you know, Sky, and I get to work alongside him, but I get to hear the stories as well. And I know he was a damn good quarterback. So.
Now, Rob and Johnny and Campbell over there, Mr. Fellow Rattler, you know why Ted's our favorite quarterback, right? Because Ted White never beat Florida A&M. See, I was a Rattler killer. I kill Rattlers. I kill snakes. Ted never killed that snake, so that's why Ted is our favorite quarterback.
Don't let him do it to you. Who's the number one in receiving yards? I mean, passing yards.
Ooh.
Rock, you gonna let it take over your show like that? I'm waiting for you to take over, jump in. If
Hey,
they want more of this, they can watch Black College Live. This is what you get on Black College Live.
hey, this is what happens. This is
You
what-
know, we already done the homework. They
Yeah,
told me that. I said, don't mention that tonight. It's his night tonight. Don't mention that tonight.
No.
See,
I
see
give Jay a really hard time, but he's rubbed off on me. He's rubbed off on me because he gives me a hard time. We give each other a hard time, but I got nothing but love for Jay. Real talk. Real talk.
This is what happens because we don't come, fam. You people don't come with concepts. We come prepared, ready to go. See, Tiffany found out this in a short term and ready to go. But I want to ask you guys something because, as they say, you guys are not for the culture. And when you go out and you do your tailgates, and when you go out and you meet people in the streets, how does that feel to be for the culture and be branded as the voice of HBCUs? Because, you know, you see people like, and Coach talked about Charlie Neal. Charlie Neal actually worked for my father and Whoop. So I understood what Charlie Neal meant. But to see, as we all have grown up together, Tiffany, I'm a little bit older than you, Jay, just a 2 years. So, but we're all in the same generation. And for you to be as the voice of this generation, how does that feel and the pride that you take in that when people, even from the older to the younger, say that you're for the culture?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an immense amount of pride. I mean, obviously, you're hoping that you're representing in the best way possible, and to see the excellency that is HBCU and the products that have been produced from it. So I think that it makes you feel good. And sometimes you can't feed into everything. Try not to get too high or too low, but certainly it is. It's refreshing, but it's also reaffirming. Right? Like that what we're doing matters, that it is making a difference, that it is impacting people, but people think that we're also representing them in the best way possible. That's what we aim to do. We aim to educate and entertain about HBCUs and about the game of football. And we hope that, I think we both want to do that. So I'm extremely grateful, humbled, and blessed that people see us in that light and that we can be examples for, because I didn't have those examples growing up, right? Like what I saw from people who were broadcasting games, I didn't see a whole lot of HBCU games. I did see the BET games. But then just women in football, I didn't get to see that. So I'm glad I can stand as that example. But to HBCU products, graduates who love HBCUs, who put it at the forefront, and it's just as important to us as any other conference or group of schools as anybody else. I take great pride in that.
It's probably my favorite part of the job. I mean, really, like when you go out there, you know, and your peers, your folks, as we want to call them, when they see you, they're like, "Oh, what's up, man? Oh, that's Jay. Oh, that's Jay." And they ask you, "Oh, man, where's Tip?" You know, the same thing, Tim. Oh, where's Jay? And we go back and forth, and you take the good moments. You know, like I like when I see young African American women sitting outside our press box waiting for Tiffany Green to show up because she's a history maker. She's a trailblazer. You know, who am I to get in the way of that? I like that. That's what it's all about. We're giving back, and you can see the impact that we're making there. And then for me, I also like it when, I'll go to Tallahassee, Florida. I'll go to Jackson, Mississippi, and whether the football team's winning or losing, I might have said something that the fans didn't like, but they'll let me know they didn't like it. But at the end of it, oh, okay, and let me get this picture with you real quick too.
Right. And we gonna get into that, Jay. Trust me, we gonna get into that about those two schools, just to let you know.
And Tiff has seen it happen. It happens a lot. So as much as I hear about it, you know, I also feel the love in the same way. I also feel the love too. It's all HBCU love, and I mean, I got the best job in the world.
Yeah. He's got really thick skin, y'all, because he gets so many different comments, both good and different and not so good, and he handles it like a champ. Like, I don't want to be in his shoes in that space, right? Like, it's Jay's give me five, it's Jay's opinion, and he stands strong in what he says or believes, and I love that because he can take some of that heat or a lot of that heat. I don't know how he does it. I'm glad I sit in my chair and that he gets to do what he does, and he does it well. He's built for that, so I give him props because he gets a lot.
Jay, let me ask you a question about the kind of the negative feedback that you get from time to time. Do you think it's driven by your opinions, or back in 1993 you carved people up like Swiss cheese?
Oh, I would say before Tiffany came along, they used to love me in Tallahassee. They used to love me. But I go to one defining moment. There was one year at the Florida Classic, I actually thought that Bethune-Cookman won the halftime show. And I said that on the air. And they never let me forget it. So ever since then, FAMU's just on it. The 363 yards and 4 touchdowns I threw against them, that don't matter no more. It's just that I said that the band wasn't better.
How can the man he know all his stats, man?
Oh yeah, you know that, Coach. As the years go on, they get better and better. Now I was a good quarterback. Now you coming to Atlanta for a reason this weekend. It's not just because of the microphone, but but when I go to A&T, now that hate there that I get from A&T when I get the hate, that's because of what I did to them. I'm like one of the few guys, me and my boys at 93 Bison, we went down there. See, at North Carolina A&T, they couldn't even tell you who they beat for homecoming 2 years ago. But they'll tell you who they lost to in 1993 for their homecoming on national TV. We hear about that all the time. Oh, I was there at that game when y'all ruined G-Ho. Well, you shouldn't have scheduled us for G-Ho. Now, what am I supposed to say about that? I got to call it like I see it, right?
Right. One of the things that of course, I'm older than everybody on the show, but and I got the only reason why I did go to Black College is because I see Doug Williams and I heard Charlie McNeil's voice. Now, what got me was we don't see us as you, when I'm saying us as commentators from Black colleges to do Black college games. Every time a Black college game come on, there's a bunch of guys on this show that don't know anything about the Patriot. Don't know nothing really about the past, but what they don't slid to them. You know what I'm saying? Does that have any? Do you guys ever think about that? I know you two guys are right now sitting at the spot, but does that ever bother you or Jay before you got into this? To say that.
I will say it affects us in ways that y'all wouldn't see. So let's say we're doing a game, and me and Tip, we'll give each other a look like the person in charge of making this product look really good on TV could care less about it. And that's when our passion comes into it. That's when me and Tiff get together like, hold on, one of us got to say something to him about it. And she's better at being the nice one, because if I say something to her, get involved, I think it's going to be trouble. So, and we've had moments, and we've had, producers out there, we're like, this person, no, you're just trying to get the game over with and move on. Mm-hmm. Where I'm like, no, these kids have an opportunity to play on national TV. Their mama, daddy, and all of them is watching. And we're not going to rush through this. We're going to give them everything that they deserve. And I think that's the stuff that I feel like we do more for HBC behind the scenes than what you see on the camera. And I don't know how Tiff feels about it.
I always think they could get more coaches like myself, in some of those situations to really, to show that we can go from the sideline into the box like our counterparts do, and that was some of the things that I want to be able to happen, that they can see more Black faces. They can see more guys from HBCU schools that actually can do the job just as good as anybody else.
Yeah, I think that's a great point too. I mean, because what Eddie Robinson Jr., I know,
he did it backwards. He did the backwards.
Yeah, but he's one of the few. And to your point, I do wish that there were more. And now you just sparked an idea in my head, so thank you for that. But I think we always attempt to, Jay and I, when he was talking about giving these players their opportunity and their shine, he always talks about building the stars, right? Let's build these stars that we have in front of us. But also, I think that's a great, thought too, to help. We work, I think, hand in hand with students when we're on campus and when we're just reaching out and just meeting young people about, hey, these are opportunities. So even if they are not in front of the camera, what opportunities can you get behind the camera? What opportunities can you get in decision-making roles, or just to kind of get on, that I think is important to the both of us, that we at least continue to see a pipeline of HBCU students from whatever schools and that we're covering, or teams that we're covering, have that opportunity for their students to get the chance to get behind the scenes, a production assistant, camera operator, producer, things like that. But I like your point too of getting more former coaches and players that opportunity on a wide range of games.
Yeah.
Hey, Campbell, let me ask you a question because, we're journalists here as well. So I'm looking at your title there, and it says, Mr. Campbell, FAMU has the best homecoming. Do you really believe that? Is that your opinion? Do you have any facts? Or are you just trying to mess with me?
Well, no, Jay, I had to set that up because, you do your give me 5. You know what I mean? And there's been time. Okay, so Jay, it's 2 things I want you to know. Not only did I go to Florida A&M, I'm actually from Jackson, Mississippi. So and I'm talking about way back, 100 people went to Jackson State. So my folks, when they found out that you were coming on, it was folks from the grade saying, hey, we need to talk about this cat, talking about why we're on the outside about our homecomings. So I wanted to make sure that you understood what your give me 5, because there have been times in your give me 5 that either Jackson State or FAMU has been on the bubble, and for some reason Howard, because nobody goes to the game, but y'all go to the yard and party about that y'all had the best homecoming. And me and Tiffany were just trying to figure out, and Tiffany being a professional, she looks at you every time you do this give me 5 at Jackson State, and FAMU sitting on the outside. So we just need to understand that.
I will say this, and then I'm going to put my partner on the spot. So we're going to see if she's grown over the years. But I will say this. I've always said that the MEAC is a homecoming conference. Even when y'all were in the MEAC, Florida A&M, you knew it was a homecoming conference. It is. The SWAC is a tailgating conference. So you've got some homecomings that you say are phenomenal, but to me, I say that's nothing but Jackson State versus Southern on a regular Saturday game, a boombox classic. But when it comes to homecomings, I think traditionally the MEACs have put a little bit more into the homecomings than maybe the SWAC, because the SWAC, y'all tailgate every weekend. I mean, best tailgate in the country. There's no comparison between SWAC tailgate and MEAC tailgate
So you're
at
talking
all.
about, so when you say homecoming, you're talking about when y'all go over there and party with Mark Barnes over there in DC.
Hey, you know.
But see, what you fail to realize, CJ, this one will help you out, because I know you went to Howard and you made the mistake. But see, when you were in the SWAC, you don't have to leave the party because the party is already there. That's why we don't have to go change our clothes and go to some club and stand in line with it, because the party's there. So that is homecoming. So see, what you're talking about is standing in the brick.
That's just tailgate. That's just tailgate. Our homecoming, you still, I've never seen anybody put 50,000 people on the yard, 50 to 6,000 people on the yard on a Friday. If you haven't been to Yard Fest, you haven't been to homecoming. Game day is a whole different thing where we shut down the whole city. And you're going to test my street cred. I go so far back with Jackson, Mississippi, that my picture used to be on the wall at a place called Peaches Cafe on Fair Street, huh? Peaches on Fair Street. Johnny T's my guy. So
that ain't gonna work. But I got my question is, y'all have 50,000 on Friday, but you have 5,000 on Saturday. That's what
the stadium only holds 5,000. The stadium only holds 5,000. We have 100,000. But
Hey,
let me ask you this.
they walked to the game after the tour.
Tiff Green.
Yeah.
FAMU homecoming better than Tuskegee homecoming.
Oh, okay.
See. She wants to say it is, but she's so loyal to FAMU.
But hold on now, wait a minute. We talking about your give me 5. So that could
in my give me 5, I put Tuskegee ahead of FAMU's homecoming. Howard there, I put G-Ho ahead of it. I'm trying to give her a chance to show her professionalism.
I'm sorry, G-Ho is not ahead of.
But that wasn't the question I asked you, though, Tiffany. What was the question I asked? Don't try and say it.
In my opinion, neither is Howard's homecoming. And we both had a chance to go to each respective homecoming.
Answer the question.
And we did.
Tuskegee homecoming better than Florida A&M?
Look, I'm gonna take a page out of your book. I'm gonna be like a politician. I'm not gonna really answer the question, but I believe I believe in all things FAMU. But I will say that I was incredibly impressed with Tuskegee's homecoming, because much like I feel at FAMU's homecoming, it felt like home. It felt like home, and it welcomed everybody.
Is that a yes?
Welcomed everybody. But FAMU's homecoming will still reign supreme forever and always. But I got to tell you, I really thoroughly enjoyed Tuskegee's homecoming. I would go back to Tuskegee's homecoming before I went back to Howard's homecoming.
Yeah, because
now you got to throw hate in there. Now you got to throw hate.
You have invoked FAMU in Tallahassee, I don't know how many times within this conversation. Okay?
It's two rattlers. It's two rattlers here.
You just decided to just dip FAMU in there every time. So now I am inciting, a little something.
We're gonna have to suspend Bishop Campbell for one show because we always have a Florida A&M person on.
That's what they do. I mean, that's what Rattlers do.
Hey, you minus one show, Coach Bishop.
Hey, one show we didn't have a guest. He brought the head custodian on the show.
Hey, well, you know what?
I mean, the best one in the nation.
Hey, that's the thing about FAMU. You talk about a whole lot of stuff besides football. There's always something with FAMU. You're going to talk about a whole lot of stuff besides football. We're not even going to get into what's going on now, so I'm going to leave that there.
So, wait a minute. Now,
I'm going to let Tim handle that.
I was wrong for that. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm wrong for
that. One of our viewers asked both of you guys, how much media attention will Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson bring to HBCU football?
It will.
You go first.
I think it'll be a healthy amount. I don't know that it will be the same as what we saw from Deion, just because personalities are different. Like Deion was such a magnet. He drew the cameras. He had his own cameras there. But I do think we will pay attention to it, certainly in the build up to the season because of, their careers. But I think after the first few weeks of the season, it could kind of settle off. But I think initially we will get some more. It'll get some more traction or love.
I will say, I think the Michael Vick hire could be a really good one. Because, if you know that area of the country, I mean, Michael Vick is loved across the country, but they love him in that Tidewater area down there, or the Hampton Roads, or Tidewater, whatever you want to call it. And Norfolk State, when Prime took the job at Jackson State, he knew what he was getting into, right? You got the largest HBCU FCS stadium in the country. If you fill that up, Jackson State was getting 40,000 fans before he got there, 35, I think, and they went up to 41. So he knew there was a base there. Norfolk State has the second largest HBCU football stadium in the country at 30,000 seats. So if Vic comes in there, and I think if he starts averaging 20, 25, gets up to 30, then that's a great move for them. And I think he's got enough of a talent base there. His name's big enough there where I think that can gain some traction a little bit quicker than I would say Deshaun Jackson will at Delaware State. Not to say he's not going to do a good job, because Delaware State's right there by Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. But I just think the move for Vic is the kind of closer to a version of prime time in the SWAC.
But I would challenge. The only reason why I ask or believe it will taper off, Jay, is because while he is beloved in that area, and don't get me wrong, I think he will have great success. Will he draw the same type of attention? No, as Coach Prime. And will he draw half of that attention? That's a question mark right now.
If he wins,
I think if he wins,
imagine a headline. Imagine a headline: Michael Vick returns to Atlanta, head coach of Norfolk State, and they make it to the Celebration Bowl.
Well, unfortunately, Jay, unfortunately, your coach Steve Wilson was the first guy to leave pro and come in and win a championship. Deion came in 20. It's been over 25 years later, so we got to wait another 25 years. So I don't think he's going to be as successful as the last two.
The success that'll play it on the field. We were talking about the hype and can he draw attention to it. And I think the MEAC is super competitive. I mean, you don't have any room for error there at all. So with such a short schedule, but I'm just talking about getting the fans involved. I mean, Norfolk State needs a little spark. They need a little spark there to get it going there. And I think that's what they're looking for. I mean, that's when you go for a splash hire. That's what you're trying to do. Are there coaches that deserve opportunities? Absolutely. But they're making it clear they're trying to make a splash hire. And, that's one of the splash hires that I think is out there. And it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah. Do you, Jay, looking over from being a player and then now moving into the media part and looking at the SWAC, what you think about the times? I know you've seen me and my brother them coach and all the way up to now. What's your take on it now? Do you see the same talent? Do you not see the same talent, the ability to coach and make things happen? Of course, the SWAC, we don't, we end up winning the Celebration Bowl for the first time. And I think it might be the first time ever. What's your take on that? Your view?
It is. I would say this, and I say this in a loving way, in a joking way, but also slightly serious. Like back in the day, defense used to be optional in the SWAC. You know, you go out there just have a shootout. 58, 56 fans loved it. If you lost by 2, okay. 48 to 45, that was it. I think the teams that have had success in the SWAC have been the team, they brought a physicality that came into the conference. And I saw that kind of start with Alcorn. When Alcorn was having their success, they were beating up on people in the trenches. Jackson State was beating up on people in the trenches. Florida A&M won last year because they could beat up on people in the trenches. So you're starting to see the physicalness in between the trenches way improved. I don't see the SWAC linemen, as we used to say back in the day, or even some of the MEAC linemen with the 18, 20% body fat. These dudes are cut now. You're starting to see the training program. And with the transfer portal, you're probably seeing some of the best athletes we've seen in HBCU football in a long time, physically. Now, can they gel and blend it in and become HBCU guys? Because you got to buy in. That's the part that everybody's trying to figure out right now. We've seen a team go out and recruit nothing but transfers, and that failed tremendously. And then we've seen those that have had that mesh. But on the field, I mean, you're seeing some dudes that, you know, we haven't really seen that many of them before.
Right. I mean, me and you talked about the Hall of Fame and the Black College Hall of Fame, man. Now they called your name, you signed the letter. Man, did they call you? How did somebody call you on the phone to let you know? Because I know you wanted it, Coach. I know you wanted it, but you rightfully so, you deserved it.
Well, so thank you. It was. I was disappointed. You know, a year ago.
Go through. Where were you at? Were you at your house? Were you on the road?
So I was. I was at America's Black College when it happened. So I was on my way to a basketball game at America's Black College. That is Howard University. So me and my son, we were going to see one of his high school teammates play at Howard. And as I was walking there, Shaq Harris kind of set me up. Shaq set me up and he said, "Hey, you know, we got some guys we're looking at talent-wise for the Legacy Bowl. You know, I need to get you in on a conference call, and you can tell us, you know, if you think these guys are worthy of playing the game." And I've kind of helped like that before. So I was like, okay. And so then Shaq said, "All right, well, you know, there's going to be guys on the phone, so you got to be ready." I said, "Well, I'll step out when you call." And he called, and then when he called, he said, "Hold on, we got to ask about one more player." And then he brought Coach Wilson in on the phone. And then Coach Wilson said, "Hey, Scott." I said, "Yeah, what's up, Coach? You know about these players?" He said, No, I know about you. Congratulations, you've been selected to make it to the Black College Football Hall of Fame." And my son was there. I'm on Howard's campus, and I just grabbed it. I said, "Son,"
and you
Jewel, my son's name was Jewel. I said, Jewel, what? I said, "I got in, man. I got in." He's like, "What? Huh?" I got into the Black College Football Hall of Fame. So being able to share that moment with my son at Howard is, that was special. I remember exactly where I was when it happened.
That was man. That's what it's about, Coach. That's what it's about, man. And I'm glad we had an opportunity to present you to our audience. And y'all gotta go ahead. Y'all got some questions. I know.
Yeah, I got some questions for both Jay and Tiffany, and y'all can answer the question in whatever order y'all want to. If y'all could have any other job than the face and voice of HBCU college football, what job would you guys want?
In sports or out of sports?
In sports. In HBCU sports.
I would say it's once a year where I wish I was a college football coach. And it's only one time a year, and that's when the FCS selection show comes out and the HBCU team is getting ready to go into the playoffs. I wish I could be that coach of an HBCU coaching against a non-HBCU in the playoffs where they think they're going to come in and out-coach you and outsmart you. I wish I could be that guy to be like, okay, to be on the winning edge of that. That's the one time I ever wish I coached.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Tim.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was good. Now you're on the inside. Now we got 3 teams that done that. We got the 78 Florida A&M team.
Yep.
The one that won the national
98 and 99 Tennessee State team.
The only one. Just
they done that. Florida A&M for only one to ever win the FCA championship. And 98, 99 Tennessee State team up 21-1. Beat every white school that they predominantly white school that they played. So I just want to put that on you now that you on the inside.
Now, Coach, Coach, now you know I know that. Now you're coming at me, man. You know I know that. Now, what I'm not going to talk about is being the number 1 ranked team in the country and losing in the first round. That's the part that hurt me. But let's also give credit to FAMU too. That team they had, them Rat Boys. Them Rat Boys almost won a national championship. They made it to the semis, I believe it was. So that was the last most impressive run we see from HBCU. It's all love. Love the job you did at Tennessee State. I mentioned Charles Anthony earlier. I know how y'all were the number 1 team in the country, which brought a lot of pride to everybody. So we got some unfinished business. We agree. As HBCUs, we got some unfinished business.
Did well too. Division 2.
Winston-Salem, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tiff. You can go ahead and answer the question.
So I can.
She wants to be the head of the J school at Florida A&M. Does that count as a sports job?
That's not nice, Jay. I would want to be like an athletic director.
I see that, Tiff. I actually see that being a job that you could do really well at, for sure. Hey, let me ask you this, because I didn't get a chance to ask Coach Jay. Jay, you guys, now this is according to Wikipedia, so you guys have to correct me on this. You guys were 11-0 undefeated at Howard, and they seeded y'all against the defending national championship team in the first round.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes, and that hurt. That hurt because all season long we have been playing thinking if we get ranked in the top 8 in the country, we're gonna host a game. And, you bring anybody to DC at that time, on our turf or plays at FedEx Field, we'd have got you. And when they announced that we made it, but we knew we were going to make it. But then they said, you're going to Marshall. Like, really? Well, where's the fairness and equity in that? And Marshall ended up going to the national championship. But, we went there, gave them a run for the money. One of the things was, tying them up 14-14 there. We still remember that like it was yesterday. But, that's the way the cookie crumbled back then. We didn't get a fair shake, but, still can't take what we accomplished.
Wow.
But looking at they went all the way to the championship and ultimately lost in a very close game to Youngstown State. Do you still think you guys were one of the better teams in FCS, though you guys were HBCU?
Yeah, if we play Marshall on 11 playing field, I think we beat them. We go up there, at Marshall, we're a throwing team. They just ran the ball. They had a crown that was about 3 feet. So I had small wide receivers and, Jimmy Cunningham and Gary Harrell, and you try to throw the ball to them out there on the hash, they look like little dots and ball sailing, and it was wet out there. We didn't get a holding call, came down mysteriously late. All those things there you take aside. I mean, we felt we had already beaten, 2 teams. We'd beaten 4 teams ranked in the top 20 that year, including Towson, who was in that, was ranked in the top 15. So we were a confident bunch, and, we could throw it with anybody. And we scared the daylights out of them. If they weren't playing us at home, then, we'd have made a historical run. I really believe that.
Wow. Jay, have you ever had in your vocabulary, my fault? You said you had the little bitty receivers. If you overthrew them, it was their fault.
Well, that's the thing about it. Hey, my little guys had hands. Gary the Flea Harrell and Jimmy the Jet Cunningham. Once you learn how to work it to them, you get them the ball. You give them a 5-yard out, they'll take it 20 yards on you. So I'm not going to complain about that. That was a give or take that we had. You try and come up play man-to-man coverage, I'm just licking my chops. So those are my guys there. We had enough blame to go around. We weren't a perfect squad, but we were damn good.
Well,
hey, Jay.
Who was your backup? You probably didn't even let him warm up. You took all the throws. Who was your backup at that time?
Oh, Pep Hamilton. I'm scared you're about to have him show up on the show next or whatever.
Pep Hamilton was the great offensive mind, Pep Hamilton?
Yes, he was. Pep Hamilton was my backup quarterback. Roommate on the road, one of my best friends in life.
Coaching then.
Yes, he does it for me. So he does it for me. I mean, you think about it. Pep was there with me, and then he also was real instrumental in guiding Ted White along. He was like a player coach his last years at Howard. So we do that on the chalkboard. Pep will carve me up. I mean, we go on the board. Coach, that is, get up there, draw it up. I mean, Pep gonna do that way back then.
Yeah, both of them, Rocky, are at Maryland now, University of Maryland.
Okay.
They are.
Okay. Hey, Jay, this is a question that the people ask, right? and Tiff, you can get in on this as well. What do y'all think the future of HBCU sports is in the transfer portal and the NIL era?
I've got a couple of thoughts, quick thoughts. I'll make them quick. Like I said earlier, I think the athlete we see on the field will be some of the best we've seen. I think that keeping those guys is going to be the hardest job ever. You know, it's going to be rare you see a 4-year starter, be a 3-year All-American, you know, guys like that. So I think that is in jeopardy. Do I think there's going to be a portion of it being a breeding ground? Yes, for the bigger schools, but do also see some guys that are going to transfer in and get to play football at a smaller stage and dominate. You may see some more dominating guys that could come out, which is what you need to do at our level if you want to play at the next level.
I actually would say that I agree with Jay on that, and I may have to graciously exit the call right now. Jay, I'm letting you leave on. I'm leaving on a high note. This is good. I agree. Can you believe that? I said
Record this, please.
You. Okay, yeah. Gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure. Jay, congratulations, my man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Safe travels on your vacation.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you,
Tiffany.
Tiffany. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. I appreciate it.
Jay, I had to ask you one question. They said, what was the hardest defense that you faced when you played the game?
South Carolina State. South Carolina State. I mean, they were when Coach Jay had them going, they were a team that they would sell out to hit the quarterback. And you know what I mean by sell out? Like they'll blow a coverage to hit me. And they would hit me. And, you know, Lou Jones, Pop Lou, who was our equipment man, the second year I played South Carolina State, I'm ready for him now. First year, we went down to Orangeburg. They beat me up pretty bad. We lost by 10 points, worst loss I had. But the next year, I'm like, okay, they want to sell out. So I figured it out, Coach. I said, you know what? Going in the game against South Carolina State, I'm going to end up 12 for 33. But I'm going to go 12 for 33 with 350 yards. I'm going to stand in there, and I'm going to hit them. So when they want to bring that sellout blitz to me, all right, you're going to get me, but I'm going to get you. And that's exactly what happened. And going into the game, I told our equipment guy, Pop Lou, I said, Pop, I need some rib pass for this game. I need rib pass because I know what they're going to do. You know what he told me? I ain't got none, homeboy. What? So sure enough, first quarter, they get me. Bam. 2 outside blitzes, outside linebackers. They meet at the quarterback. Bam. I get hit. Next pass, I try to drop back and throw. And as I'm trying to throw, my ribs just yank at me. And then I try to throw again. They yank at me. Missed 2 passes in a row. Coach Springs, rest in peace, Ron Springs. He goes over to Pep Hamilton. Hey, Pep, you know, you may have to get ready for this game right here. I don't think Jay gonna make it. You know what Pep says? Oh, no. I'll talk to Jay. He's just not setting his feet. I'll get him right. He just not setting his feet. And I'm like, man, Pep, no, they got me. Then at halftime, I go in there, close game, and here come my equipment man, Pop. He say, hey, Jay, man, put these on. He give me rib pads. I asked for rib pads before the game. You give them to me at halftime. And, you know, the rest is history. I figured it out and bombed on Betty. But that defense they had there, they were going to hit you good.
My name is James Jeter, and I won $500 for lunch for keeping up with the Joneses Bracket Challenge.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.